Welcome to the Burgh Cave, where you need two things. You need one of these, and I know a little something about this. Grab your brew, come on in and talk to the fellas. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the Burgh Cave. We're having some technical difficulties. GB is here. He's just backstage. We're going to bring the fellas here in a minute, man. AFC North preview. And we got representation from all four teams, and it's going to be a great discussion. The most important thing is it's good football, people. We're going to have good football discussions, and we're going to find out the ins and outs of every team here in the AFC North. We got representation, obviously, from the Pittsburgh Steelers, from the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So it is going to be a great, great conversation. But before we get into that, our sponsor here is Celebrations Bar, Banquet, and Grill at 8110 Steubenville Pike in Imperial, PA. My man cave away from my man cave. You see their phone number here as 724-695-4333. 45-cent wings on Wednesday nights. And while the weather permits, the deck is open. So go see Alex and Laura at Celebrations if you are in the Pittsburgh area, and especially if you are near the Robinson area. So I'm not going to waste much time on anything else. I want to bring all the fellows on, and let's talk some ball here. So let's go ahead and let me see if I can figure out all of this garbage. And then we have, there's everybody. GB, how are you, sir? Long time no talk, man. Oh, GB's got technical difficulties. We'll go AB and Bavakwa from the Baltimore Ravens. How are you guys?
Yo, what's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing well. AB, how are you, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. I love having you back. Bozy representing the Cincinnati Bengals, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. Everyone, it's going to be fun tonight. Let's go. Who Dey?
Absolutely. And Will from Guys Sports Night with the making all of our backgrounds look terrible. They're representing the Cleveland Browns. Will from Guys Sports Night. How are you, bud?
What's going on, guys? Greetings, everybody.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's see what GB's working out some of the kinks here. But listen, it's been I love the football's back. We're actually getting week 0 this weekend. So you're going to be competing with a few real college games and some preseason. So I want to go around the horn, and obviously you guys can all answer or ask GB and I any Steeler questions as you like. This is going to be free-flowing conversations. We're going to go by the teams and sections and kind of do the similar questions as well. But again, I want this to be a free-form conversation. At any time, you guys ask GB and I questions about the Steelers as well. But to start off, we're going around, and Bozy, I'll start with you with the Cincinnati Bengals. What is the biggest reason for the Bengals? That's maybe like a 1 or 2 minute answer. The biggest reason for optimism this year for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, a couple things. Obviously, they have a defense now, which is, getting Dexter Lawrence in the trade and all that. It's the defense. They have a bunch of leaders over there now, which they've not had the past couple years. So Burrow the offense doesn't feel like they have to score 100 points to win games and lose, 99 to 100. I mean, that's just how it was, being sarcastic, obviously. But you got that. You got continuity in the offensive line coming back, although there are some question marks there. But the optimism really is you bring the whole offense back from last year, and now you actually have a defense. You got some playmakers over there, some dudes over there that are going to change the game over there. Are they going to be a top 5 defense? Yeah, probably not, but they're going to be good. Average, worst case, maybe above average, and that's all we really need to be competitive and, reach the goals that we want to do. Well, they, not we.
Yeah. All right, great. Bavakwa and AB, which one of you guys want to take this one? The biggest reason for optimism for the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, I can go ahead. I think one of the biggest reasons for optimism is just the changing of the guard at the head position. To me, I think that's one of the biggest things. You and I have had conversations both online and offline about how much I did like and appreciate John Harbaugh, the parallels between Pittsburgh and Baltimore with the older guard CEO style coaches, though I just think there was time for a change. As much as I like Harbaugh, he hit his expiration date. I'm excited to see what a defensively minded coach who will be coaching on the sideline in that manner. you don't want to get too high or too low with the preseason by any means, but 10 points in 2 games, I think, is leading a good sign. Very excited to see, not just with Minter, but also with Doyle as the OC, what they can bring with what I think is an admittedly biased opinion. It's a pretty star-studded roster on both sides of the ball.
Okay. And AB, I'll come back to you for the second round of the opening questions for the Ravens. Will, what about the Cleveland Browns? The biggest reason for optimism for you guys here in 2026?
I mean, we got a lot of things. There's probably about 5 to 7 things we got to be optimistic about. You got Jaden Maeva out of USC, Arch Manning out of Texas. You've got Sayan out of Ohio State. So, I mean, we got a lot to look forward to this season. We just need about 16, 17 losses, and we're on our way.
Oh, that's what you're going with. Yeah.
I mean, as far as what we have to look forward to, I mean, on a serious note, well, after them putting Deshaun Watson as a starter, not a whole lot, but a lot of young talent on this team. I wasn't excited about the draft, but they did bring in a bunch of talent at the wide receiver section. So we'll see if they can develop some of this, like I said, to get ready for the next big thing, which is we're going to need a quarterback to run this team.
Well, you guys are giving a one for 99 cents, but that would have to be a hard pass for – we'd not be interested in a free 99-cent quarterback from Cleveland. But, GB, I'll give you the floor on this one for the Steelers, brother. I mean, we talked a lot on last night on our post-game thing from the Jets as well. But what is the biggest reason for the Steelers to be optimistic, or if Steeler fans to be optimistic this year, man?
Very simply put, this is the deepest team that we've had in 10 years. Across the board. Top to bottom, it's the deepest by far. Every single position is solid. There really isn't a weakness other than Aaron Rodgers' health, right?
Yeah.
That's literally. But other than that, we're pretty solid and deep. If somebody gets injured, you got people that can replace, and it's about the same. And that's a hell of a thing to have in a game of attrition. 17 games, especially in the AFC North. So. That's what I'm most excited about is how deep this team is for this 2026-27 campaign.
Okay, well, we're going to go back around the horn. We'll start with Bozy again, and we'll go to AB next bit. Again, now what's the reason for concern? What are you most worried about at a high level about the Bengals this year?
Protecting Joe. I mean, let's call it keeping him healthy. Yeah. I mean, let's just assume everyone's healthy as we start the year, and that's how it goes. I know Jamar had a scare today, but he's good, by the way. If anyone cared to know, he's actually good.
Good.
Protecting our quarterback. Number 9 is why we have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, keeping him healthy. If he's healthy the whole 17 games, the offense is going to produce with the defense there now. So the left tackle spot with Orlando Brown is probably my biggest concern. Okay. Back to JB's point, this might be the deepest roster I've ever seen in Cincinnati since Burrow's been a Bengal at least.
Okay.
So my biggest concern, though, is the left tackle, which I think they'll be getting a swing tackle here pretty soon. Just like getting Jonah Williams or someone like that. There's rumors about that, but that's my biggest concern.
Okay, AB, you get to be the negative Nancy for the Baltimore Ravens here. Bavakwa got to be the old unicorn.
Well, I was going to jump in. My reason for optimism is just one name, Lamar Jackson. Jackson. But the things that make me a little nervous is just like Bavakwa said, like he's excited for the changing of the guard, but you just never know. When you get rid of head coaches that perennially win 10 games, like John Harbaugh and like Mike Tomlin, you just don't know. So everything that's coming out of training camp sounds great. Seems like he has great command of the team. He's made that step from coordinator to head coach, but you just don't know. When you're talking about position groups, O-line and defensive end have just been the Ravens' Achilles heel for the last 2 or 3 years. We can't figure rush end out, and it just makes me nervous.
All right. Okay, Will, what about you? The biggest reason the Cleveland Browns should be. I ask you all these questions, man. You just get that smile on your face, bro. I appreciate that. But what about the Ravens? Or I'm sorry, the Ravens, but the Browns as far. What is the biggest reason I think for concern for 2026?
Frankly, every one of these teams in this division is one injury away from being a sub 500 team. And that means we could accidentally go and win enough games to be relevant or, God forbid, not get a quarterback. I think that's the biggest concern that we have here in Cleveland, is that you get caught in no man's land. I know you guys are all excited about your teams, but Rodgers is 40 plus years old and could easily be on his back tomorrow and be done. Joe Burrows has a history of being done by week 3. And the Ravens, frankly, like he said, he got rid of Harbaugh. And I think for a coach that consistently wins and to bring in somebody who doesn't have head coaching experience, like you put yourself at risk of a team unwinding quickly if something doesn't go right at the beginning of the season. So the division's kind of up for grabs in a lot of ways. And I think that doesn't do well for us if we screw around and win 4 or 5 games in the first 8 because we have a terrible schedule. It's the easiest schedule in the league by far.
Yes, I did see that. You guys lucked out on the we got you guys on a short week twice, really. So, but you never know. Like I said, it's a long season. GB, I'm going to come back to you again for the biggest reason for concern that's for Steeler fans.
Oh, simply put, I said it earlier. 42-year-old man's health. Like that's it. I don't think that we'd be sub 500 though. If I just think that we would not be able to go nearly as deep into a postseason run without Rodgers. I'm still I will still be 9-8, 10-7
right.
with mediocre Mace, at the helm. We'll be all right. We'll be a wild card team instead of in what I believe is going to be a division winner. So, but that's really the biggest thing because the O-line is a young, high pedigree, gelling O-line, right?
Yeah.
But they can also make a colossal mistake like that, and you just never know.
Correct.
You just never know.
Correct. Yeah, you definitely don't. So, all right. So what we're gonna do now is go through with the teams. So we're gonna pick teams here. So I have just a couple of questions here, but while the team that we're talking about, anybody can jump in of the other 3 teams with any questions specifically. No particular order here. So we're going to start with the Ravens here because they're picked to finish first every year. By the way, isn't this like the laziest analytical division in the NFL? Ravens will finish first. The Bengals are a scary team on offense. The Steelers are going to have a losing record, and Cleveland has a promising young team. What can they do? It's like been that way for like the last 6 years. It's insane. I'm just going to go be an AFC North analyst for
national media is lazy.
Copy paste everything.
Very.
Okay, so
lazy,
Bavak, we'll come back to you and AB. You guys can both answer this too. But in your opinion, and what you've seen within the Ravens media, the reports and things like that, how is Jesse Minter, establishing himself as a Ravens coach? Because again, you talked about be careful what you wish for when you place a perennial winner at head coach.
Yeah, and AB, feel free to tap in. I'm for the record, I'm 3 IPAs in, starting this. So
hell yeah.
There you go.
I got the harvest right here, but I got the good stuff
on this one. Hey, shout out to General Braddock's at Brewmasters. It's a tasty treat. to have those earlier. Anyway,
brew gentlemen, sir. Brew gentlemen. Let me help you out.
Yes.
There you go. You're right. It's correcting me. So fact checking on the fly. I like it. So to me, it's part and parcel of what AB was saying earlier. There's a lot of concern and trepidation with having a new coach, a new regime after such a long period of time. You don't know what you're going to get. And again, you can't hang your hat on necessarily what's happening in the preseason, but there does seem to be, the combination of a youth infusion. That's just the trend of what's happening with the coaching regimes in the NFL for the most part.
Yeah.
Having a defensive specialist to get 10 points in 2 games leads me to be more optimistic. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think the offense has a lot of key players. Little concerned about what's going to happen at the wide receiver position, considering how certain things have panned out recently. But I think there's a lot of opportunity here to just change the direction. I mean, what's really been the Achilles heel for the Ravens the last couple of years, just the lack of a better term, the choke artistry. What I hope is, as a fan, is that left the building with Coach Harbaugh. As much as I like him, hoping that's what's happening.
So I'm asking this, AB. What about Bavako mentioned the receiving core?
Yeah,
there's a lot of young guys with Surratt and the kid you guys got from USC, I believe.
Jacoby Lane.
Yeah. How are those guys progressing? And try to complement your $130 million guys, Zay Flowers, right? 130.
Yeah. I I think that Jacoby Lane has been the standout from the wide receiver room. Every time we turn around, every preseason game, he's been making plays. So that is the hot topic. And I don't know if that's national media, whether that's Ravens media, we're reading it on ravens.com. But Jacoby Lane looks like a stud. We've been trying to draft a wide receiver like the Steelers have for years, where you get a stud in the third round and he can be a big body guy and he can go up and make plays for Lamar Jackson. He's been building early chemistry with Lamar, and he looks really, really promising. So I think he's been the standout for sure. Bavaka will Zay Flowers is one of Bavaka's guys. And I love Zay as well. I think, Zay's going to have a great year as well. His small size makes me a little nervous. So I think having Lane, having Tez Walker to complement Zay is going to be huge.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the Ravens, guys?
Yeah, from the Bengal aspect, every Bengal fan wants to know what you guys thought is having Trey Hendrickson, because I know we got thoughts of losing him, and we're okay with losing him. I'm just telling you. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Seriously, I'll have a conversation here about this. I want to know your guys' thoughts.
We kind of talked about this the last time that I was on, but our general manager, Eric DaCosta, we think he got a little bit of cold feet with the huge deal for Max Crosby. And he saw Trey Hendrickson sitting out there. And I think that was the guy that we were trying to target from the jump. And then we saw his market value go down. I absolutely love the move. He's been a stud for you guys for years. And his age continuously gets called out as a negative point. But he's another standout in training camp and in the preseason games. They've been talking about him a lot. He hasn't played in the preseason games, but I think he's going to be a stud for us. And he's been in the backfield a lot during training camp. So,
okay. Anybody else?
Well, I was struggling with audio with Bose. But I would think if we're talking about Hendrickson, I'm very interested to see if this works out with him. And on the opposite end, along the defensive line, I wonder how this impacts a guy like Travis Jones. As someone that's, maybe if you have a more high reward type of D end, if it gives him an opportunity to shine. I mean, to AB's point, honestly, even over the last couple of years, I'd say even worse than a wide receiver position, which has been a notorious Achilles heel for the Ravens in terms of drafting. I think edge has been worse. And so I'm very interested to see how Hendrickson plays out and how he factors in and how his play positively impacts other players along that D-line.
I think watching him as a Bengal fan, he is a great pass rusher, but against the run, he's been average at best. And this is just, I've watched all of his games. Last year, I had a bad taste in our mouths with him, the way that all played out. I think he just wanted out of here. And to your point, his market value dropped, where the Bengals, I think, actually offered more than you guys gave him, which is kind of, regardless, you can say the same thing about Dexter Lawrence coming here. I mean, he didn't work out good at the Giants. Also, he's looking great here. So we could say the same thing, which we'll get to later. But I'll be interested to see how that plays out there. My other question is, Eric might ask this too, but are you guys confident on Lamar's health going forward and the fact he's only done under contract after this year?
I'll jump in here. I think that Lamar's contract situations have always been weird, and he just keeps that between he and DaCosta. So I'm not worried about it. He was able to get a deal done last time. I think he's going to ball out again this year, and then you'll have to pay him top market value. So it's a little bit of like risk and reward. He's had a couple of freak injuries. He had that freak injury in was it 21 or 22? A lot of these are like non-contact. So a lot of the dialogue when he came out was, is this sustainable? And I think he's proved over umpteen years that it is sustainable, and he's one of the best players in the league.
Will or GB, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
I'm just curious.
Tell me a little bit about,
go ahead, GB.
Tell me a little bit about Derrick Henry. Is he getting a little longer in the tooth? Is it look like he's losing anything, or is he still looking Derrick Henry-ish?
So that's a great question. That is quite the conundrum with Derrick Henry, right? So on one hand, you have a guy who's pushing 32 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And we know with power running backs, they just hit a wall. and they just drop off like from a cliff. But at the same time, he had just a hair under 1,600 yards last year. So my optimistic purple-colored glasses will say that I think he's going to have at least one more good year in him. Hopefully, coincides with his contract of 2 more good years. I'm very interested to see what happens with him. GB, it can go either way. You know, I think he is a person who not only with his size, his power, he's known for taking very good care of his body. I think that the scheme with having, even though he doesn't run like he has in years past, having to be concerned about Lamar gives a little more opportunity to him to not have to. I mean, we knew 4 years ago what was going to happen when Tennessee lined up in their formations, right? So he was going to take a beating. It's a little bit different here, but I would say if you tell me he's going to rush 300 carries, 1,600 yards, I say I'm not surprised. If you say, hey, his wheels are going to blow out 5 weeks in, I'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, so it'd be a very interesting. He is going to be the key on the offense as his durability and how he performs.
Absolutely.
And GB,
prepares
he's
very
running
well. I mean, he prepares this body like the off-season stuff is unreal. Like I watch his workout videos he puts out on his reels and shit. It's unreal, dude. So I don't see him topping off anytime soon. That's just me. Like obviously you hope that there's a chink in the armor, but man, he's a bad dude, man. At the
Absolutely.
end of the day,
Much definitely got much respect to him.
It's fascinating when you see guys like him and you juxtapose it to like when you watch The Football Life with John Riggins, where he's like, after practice we drank a 6-pack, solved the world's dead, and moved on, right? And it's so different now. These guys are really investing in their body. I think it was LeBron James who really started that trend of spending a significant portion, maybe not to them, of their income on preparing their body for the and investing in it.
Well, they're smoking cigarettes in the locker room back in the first Super Bowl.
Hey, real quick, let's keep us moving to Will. You had a question for the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's funny because this is the first year that I'm not delusional as a Browns fan, but I get to listen to what I think everybody else be delusional about their teams. Like, so you're really high on the Ravens doing well this year, despite the fact that Derrick Henry's old, but they also lost their best offensive lineman. They lost their best tight end really because likely was far superior than Mark's going to be this year. The defense has been pedestrian, and now Trey, you're like leaning on Hendrickson, who was essentially a nobody in Cincinnati the last 2 years, and you paid him $120 million when you had Crosby in your pocket. So I'm just curious. I guess my question, if I had one, would just be like, do you guys look at and then obviously new head coach? Do you look at this season as like, okay, we either made all the right moves and we're going to do well, or we're going to barely win 7 games and be at the cellar of the AFC North? Because I feel like when I look at Baltimore, that's what I look at and see.
I mean, I feel pretty confident about it. I mean, we might have lost an O-lineman, but we got GB's boy out of Penn State, Vanga Ione, and Derrick Henry's going to be running behind him, not Falele, who couldn't block his way out of a cardboard box. Jesse Minter was brought to Baltimore because of what he's going to bring to the defense. So you're right. Like, our defense has been not great, and we've got off to slow starts over the last couple of years, but I directly associate that with John Harbaugh and his ineptitude, and just his messaging has become stale. So Jesse's going to own the defense, and Declan Doyle, who's our offensive coordinator, is going to own the offense. And those two guys have just been in lockstep. So I do feel really good about it. I mean, our track record speaks for itself. So sure, have we had some up and downs, but generally Eric DeCosta is going to put the right pieces out on the field, and then we're going to pick up some pieces at the trade deadline and adjust as needed.
Yeah, and
I found it interesting because somebody the other day was like, "Man, there's not a Pittsburgh Steeler or Raven that I would take in the first 5 rounds of any fantasy draft." And it's like, did they only win 10 games because of their coaching, and they both got rid of their coaching? So is it going to totally flop on them this year when they, try to do something with new coaches and same rosters for the most part, other than Pittsburgh picking up a couple of depth guys? But
it's a fair point.
Yeah, definitely a fair point. I mean, every year is different and such too. But well, Vaco and AB, we got a question here from someone who's watching from Steel Loyal. Status on Matabuke. Has he been hurt or is he good or what?
That's a weird one. Like, they will not give any details about it. So all the indications are that he's going to be ready to go. Okay. But anytime reporters ask coaching staff about it, like, they are non-committal. So all signs are pointing to it's not career ending. I don't think anyone wants to insert their foot into their mouth and say he's ready to go when he's not. I still feel pretty good about the line without Matabuke, and you know, in my mind's eye, I'm envisioning the Ravens going without him, just because that's been our reality over the last couple of years. But all signs are pointing to he's going to play.
Okay. Last question I have, unless Will, GB, or Bozy has another question, and this is really going to be a question for everybody, is who is a player that nobody outside of Baltimore is talking about, that this guy is coming up the roster? It's a young guy, or it's he's a first-time starter. Is it a rookie? Who's going to jump out this year for the Ravens that no one's talking about outside of Baltimore? Nobody. Not a damn thing.
I mean,
you know what? Back to our guy from Cleveland. Yeah, it's a great point to bring up.
Yeah, I was going to defer to you on that. I mean, I wasn't thinking of a younger individual. I'm curious about the depth at the wide receiver position, just because wide receiver, once you get past 2, is always kind of a pretty thing. But this year, they went a little heavy in the draft with that.
Yeah.
Again, 3 IPAs in. I'm forgetting his name, but 45 kind of intrigues me.
Yeah.
In terms of how he's getting after it. Again, in preseason, can't get too high, can't get too low, but with the caveat of, say, this is a different defensive scheme, and we've seen it in the league before, where individuals that people may consider pedestrian or less than just fit a scheme perfectly. So I'm curious to see how I'd say he's the one that I'm kind of keeping an eyeball on, to see, 1, makes the roster, and 2, what kind of impact, even if it's on the margins, happens from there. But definitely not someone they're talking about outside of. They're probably not even talking about him inside Baltimore at this point. But outside too.
Okay.
I mean, my pick would be Jacoby Lane, so I already talked about him, so I won't delve too much deep into him. But I don't know whether that is people inside of Baltimore overhyping him because we haven't drafted a top flight wide receiver, a big bodied wide receiver. It's just been an Achilles heel of ours, but he's making plays all over the place. That would be my pick.
I gotta tell you, so I'm a USC fan. I grew up in Southern California. I don't think Jacoby Lane had more than like 700 yards for us in the 2-3 seasons he played for us. I'm not that high on him, but I like Surratt out of Indiana. I'll be interested to see if he becomes like a solid, like, catching receiver that he can count on. He's got great hands. I think he's got more potential to be Lamar's number 1 guy as far as like a safety valve and maybe sneak away and have like 65, 70 catches this year. They just gave $120 million to Zay, and I mean, that's one of those guys where it's like, in Cleveland, we knew he was either going to catch a touchdown or drop 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but I mean, all the receivers are getting $40 million a year now. It's like, next year, offensive linemen will be getting 40 and quarterbacks will be getting 100. And before you know it, Deshaun Watson will look like a deal.
I want to say something here. We talked about this with the Steelers with Tomlin.
It is the way the market's moving. That is for sure.
Are you guys taking for granted the Harbaugh?
Baseball's the same way, though. I mean,
are you guys taking for granted what Harbaugh did for you guys?
Business making the money you think they're going to make, but it's just the market, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Bozy.
Yeah, do you guys take for granted what Harbaugh did for you guys? I mean, I get that there might have been some mishaps here, but he doesn't fumble the ball. Other guys fumble the ball. It's stuff like that. He put him in a position to win a lot of games. Now you take that, like, Tomlin's not a Steeler coach anymore. We talked about this before. We'll come to it again. You guys take for granted how great the coaches you had were there. We don't know what Minner is. I know Minner is because of his dad from, well.
Not this guy.
No, I know that. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, though. We talked about that before. No, I get you. No. But, I mean, I wouldn't take for granted Harbaugh at all. I mean, the guy was a hell of a coach, and I don't think he's going to have the Giants in the playoffs this year, but he's going to have them competitive. I think the dude's got a program down. Maybe it didn't fit with Lamar. Maybe it didn't fit with this or that. I don't know, but they were always competitive. He had them in the playoffs every year except for last year.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're not spoiled. See, those Pittsburgh fans and Ravens fans, y'all spoiled with good coaches. This guy's got a coach that's going to screw up Joe Burrows.
Easy. We didn't get to that yet.
I think Bavaka and I both are Harbaugh guys. Like I liked Harbaugh a lot. I think for years the people that were fire Tomlin in Pittsburgh were nuts. They're crazy. Like you have to think about what the alternative is. So if you can upgrade at that position, great, but there's not that many top flight guys out there. So if you get a divorce, you have to be ready for the team that coach goes to be better for a couple of years. So I think that's a risk that both the Steelers and the Ravens were honestly willing to take because those coaches had taken their course.
Go ahead, GB.
You know what? To speak on that, AB, it was, our coaching change with Mike McCarthy was really interesting because at first, if you'd told me this time last year that Mike McCarthy would be the head coach, I'd be like, you're out of your freaking mind. We're not bringing, that's such a homer pick, However, watching the structure of like his training camp regimen and how much faster things were going and the details that were coming out and even down to, how quickly he has been able to develop a young quarterback like Drew Aller and like getting him, letting him, like some Steeler fans is looking at him like, wait a minute, because of the, this overall thing, it kind of exposed the Tomlin regime to a certain degree. Now we'll see how this plays out during the regular season, but that was the one thing that I've been like, eyes wide open, like, wow, this is a different, it's a whole different type of, like, it's like night and day. And I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. We'll see how it equates to wins and losses, but it has been a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say.
Definitely. The offense is going to be better.
I really think that the trend. You think of the early mid 2000s, when Tomlin and Harbaugh came into play. The trend at that time was more of a CEO style coach, and the dynamism in the league now really, in my opinion, leads to having someone on one side of the ball who's a mastermind of some sort. You saw it with McVay, and it's a copycat league, and you're taking these templates and moving along. But I just think the way the league's changed and become much more dynamic than it was 20, 21 years ago. Seeing someone that's more of an expert on one side of the ball, and again, Harbaugh was a special teams coach, and Tomlin was a defensive coach from years. I just those changes. At first they don't make sense when you look at long tenured coaches with a very successful track record, but I think it needed to happen.
Yeah, but you look at both those teams too, and like I can get it. Like the reason those guys were successful is because they were consistent. They won regardless of what the front office did. I mean, you look at Baltimore; they never really put together a solid receiving core for Lamar Jackson in the initial 5 years. They're trying now, but they're still doing the same thing. They're doing like the Cleveland Brown shit from the early 2000s, where you like fill the room with second and third rounders and like hope you catch a flyer. And then you look at Pittsburgh. They had a defense that was capable of winning, and they didn't go out and they didn't go get the quarterback, right? Like they tried to deal with Pickett. And now even the last 2 years with Rodgers, I mean, that, so we'll see. Like, it's easy to say like, oh, they were just boring. They just won their 9-10 games and that was all. And, they didn't do anything special. They weren't dynamic. But I mean, realistically, if you look at those rosters for the last 5 years, there's really not a whole lot of dynamic in those rosters from either side of the ball, other than Lamar Jackson, of course. But so, I mean, they're doing a reset, right? So we'll see what happens with the like I said, I'm not really impressed with either of their rosters. And we can get to the Bengals. That's a roster I'm impressed with.
To me, when it comes to the Ravens and the Steelers, is malaise, right? It was the same thing year after year. They'll squeak into the playoffs, win the division. You got a lot of hope. Maybe get one game into the playoffs max. Something had to give. And there are risk and reward associated with that decision. Yeah, of course. No one is certainly not set in stone, and McCarthy or Minter are the answer. but at some point you had something had to give.
So, yeah, but that's another thing you say, barely getting to the playoffs, dude. When you have a good defense and a good head coach who doesn't make bonehead plays with the time and the clock and the 2-minute warning and things like that, like that's what you need to win in the playoffs. Like,
and a running game. Both those teams always had a running game too.
Right. Like neither of those teams were really like getting blown out. I mean, you have to look at what the AFC's been for the last 7 years with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, the AFC has been insane the last 5-6 years. So we'll see.
I think it's what it is. I mean, and we'll get to the Steelers in a second because you brought some good points up with the roster, the way the Steelers are filling out their roster, but I think it's a little bit different here, and we'll get to the Steelers a little bit later on. But let's move to your team here, the Cleveland Browns, and I want to talk about what your impressions are and the fan base impressions of Monken so far in Cleveland. Do you see, what? Or I'll just phrase it this: what changes do you see with Monken from the previous regime?
I mean, you want to like the guy. Like what we do here in Cleveland with head coaches is they win the press conference. They say a couple of cool things that people jump on the sound bites for. The one thing I will say about Monken is like this is his shot. He's not going to get another one. So I the phrase leave it all out on the field, but then he makes a bonehead play like starting Deshaun Watson. And I'm not gonna. I'm the first one who said like Deshaun Watson could screw around and win 10 games with this team. 100% could absolutely happen. But I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't want to win 10 games because the roster needs a quarterback, and I don't want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Like where you're sitting there trying to find 40-year-old quarterbacks to roster your team if you hit on these wide receivers and your defense builds back up and things like that. So the idea that there's enough talent on this team to make it to the playoffs with average quarterback play and the terrible easy schedule, that's a very, very strong possibility. But how Monken came up with the conclusion that Watson was the best quarterback for this roster, or what his decision made the best for this team now and in the future, is beyond most people in Cleveland. They're talking about boycotting the first home game.
Do you think that was his call or above him?
No, I think it was absolutely his. I don't think. Here's why. One, I think Jimmy Haslam, for all the people out there that talk a lot of smack about Jimmy Haslam, like he's one of my favorite owners in Cleveland, and just in general in sports. He stays hands off. He's he's given a GM full power, do what you need to do. He's backed all his moves, hasn't come out spoken against him, despite the fact that the Deshaun Watson trade blew up in his face. Could have fired him right then and there, started from scratch, didn't do that. Stuck with Stefanski. I think he backed the wrong horse in backing Barry, but we'll see how this draft turns out. And, ultimately, I think the decision, I think it was Barry's decision, honestly. I think a 5-win team would have saw Barry getting benched, kicked off the team, and they would have went and got a new GM. Probably would have ended up with Monken getting cut too, because a new GM is going to want his own coach, and it would have been a rebuild come next year. And I think Barry kind of did this move to hire Monken to save his ass and hopefully squeak out that 9 wins, make his draft class look a little better, and then mortgage 3 more years of draft picks to get their guy next year.
What's not fair to them, because they didn't put this together. They were inherited to this quarterback situation. I think they put a good roster together altogether. The quarterback situation's a joke, which we all agree. I personally give Shedeur Sanders a shot. You have to. Here's the thing. I cut Watson altogether, honestly.
Yeah, but you say they inherited this roster. No, I mean Barry created this problem.
No, the quarterback situation. I'm sorry, the coaching and all that.
I agree.
Yes, I'm sorry.
When Barry got here, we had Baker Mayfield, who you can hate and not like, not think is a top flight quarterback, but ultimately we were one play away from being an AFC Championship game the year before. He had injury problems and to his shoulder and look, he can still sling the ball. He showed that in Tampa Bay. So what does 3 more years of first-round picks, another second-round pick look like with the roster, with one of the best, probably the best offensive line in football at that time, the best running back in football at that time, the best defense in football at that time? So what does 3 more years with Baker Mayfield look like? But it was Barry who dismantled the roster, who made the trade for Watson, who, let the defense age, who didn't replace any of the offensive linemen over the course of that 3 or 4 years. And he's put this team in that roster. I think that's why I get so frustrated when people are like, oh, Cleveland had 2 back-to-back great drafts. It's like, yeah, he's trying to do a rebuild without doing a rebuild, but he also dismantled one of the best rosters in football.
Fair enough.
So, GB, you got one? I got a question. Mr. Tummy brought up, Watson costs too much to bench. Do you, Will, do you really think that was the ultimate decision maker, was his contract?
No, because you make decisions like that when you're worried about the fan base, when you're worried about the PR. The fan base they do not want Watson, right? They don't care about the $40 million. The money's already spent. It's salary cap money. It's not like we're all chipping in to pay that.
Yeah.
So I don't see that being part of the decision. I mean, you've already admitted that it was a terrible move. So you're not saving face by starting him one more year.
Okay. I thought maybe it was like the ownership because of the paycheck. But GB, go ahead.
Though, I guess my thing is from a coaching perspective. I mean, you said it perfectly. You know, Todd Monken has one shot. I don't know about you, but if I only got one shot in my choices are Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, I'm gonna try to do what I can do to get dubs, and because I may not have a shot after 2026, 2027.
Agreed.
What's Watson showed you that he's gonna do it though?
What's that?
Well, that ain't up to me, though. Here's the thing, Bubby. That ain't up to me. That's up to the coaching staff. The coaching staff said that Deshaun Watson is QB1. It has nothing to do with fanfare and all that. And
that's not what I'm talking about on the field. He hasn't shown anything to me.
No, it's he hasn't really.
Coaching staff
that he
obviously feel like he's going to be something. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
You know, and here's the thing. This is the thing. We talked about this. We actually talked about this with a couple of sports talk radios stations here in Cleveland, and you know, the big thing at the beginning of the year is like if they're going to give him an equal shot, then Deshaun's going to win because he's a 10-year, 8-year NFL quarterback, 2-time national champion in college. Like he's going to win on the practice field, right? But then you see, it's funny because, you know, in Cleveland, we've seen third-string quarterbacks play like number ones against our best defense. But in a preseason game last week, a supposed NFL starting quarterback looked like dog against a third and fourth string team that was, you know, not even going to be fielding those players during the season. Right. So once again, I don't understand it. I don't comprehend it. I'm not in the practice field. I don't see it. I think the only thing that hurt Shedeur was, you know, I think he's looking for the big play, and sometimes that puts him in a bad situation where he might get into a 3rd and long, or, you know, he throws a ball behind somebody and it gets bounced up in the air and picked off. And I think that was kind of the unknown. And like you said, I really believe that Monken was hired because they need to win 10 games to keep Barry's job. And Monken's nobody's going to go to Monken and say, hey, just go ahead and like eat crow this year and get a top 5 pick, because he knows that he's not going to get another head coaching job being 60 plus years old and leading the team, the Browns, to a 4-win season. So,
Will, would you guys like a slightly used Will Howard?
No, God, no.
3rd trio.
No,
would you like Joe Flacco back?
And here, just so you guys know, I actually live in Medina, Ohio, and I wouldn't even take Drew Aller, to be honest with you. So
I would not take Drew Aller at all. No way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, right now I get it, but we'll hopefully he develops here too. So, well, let me ask you this. So obviously, one of the biggest stories in all of football was the Browns trading Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
How has the defense? I mean, you're getting a pretty good dude back in Curtis and stuff too, but like, how's the defense been? I don't want to say reformed, but how are they adjusting without Myles Garrett?
I actually think the move is great. That once again, Barry does some smart things once in a while. I think that was a smart move. I think it could have been a smarter move if we would have done it last year before the season started, because I think you would have netted a lot more before Myles Garrett had a no trade clause. But I think overall, you got the most you were going to get. I mean, Jared Verse, I think, pulls a 1st and a 3rd round pick if you're trading for him. So if you look at it that way, you got 2 firsts, 2 thirds, a second. I mean, you can't be mad at the return. And, you know, I love Myles Garrett. I mean, he's easily one of the, I mean, he's going to dominate football for at least another 3 years. I mean, he's just like the LeBron James of football as far as the way he takes care of his body and stuff like that. But overall, I don't think it's going to make our defense that much worse or better. You know, we did just lose Alex Wright for the season. That's probably going to make more of an impact than they downgraded from Garrett to Verse.
Okay. Yeah, I meant Verse. I think I said Curse, but I meant Verse. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're all happy about Myles Garrett leaving the division.
Everyone here is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but I mean, shoot, if you're Baltimore, I'd be more worried about Schlesinger. And just like I mean, Baltimore should have been more afraid of JOK before, you know, his career unfortunately got derailed. I mean, Baltimore really offensively has not dominated the Browns in quite some time. And Myles Garrett can Cincinnati is the only place that should really be glad that Myles Garrett's gone.
Oh, we are so glad he's gone. Trust me. I love the guy too. One of my favorite players. Get the hell out of this fucking division.
No, it's good stuff. I mean, I listen. Sometimes you kind of get you add to the sum by getting rid of one. So Myles Garrett was obviously a dominant player, great player, and like I said, the three of us, Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals, are all glad he's gone because he was dominating pretty well. So same question to you, Will, and then if anybody else has any questions for you as well. Who was a player nobody outside of Cleveland is talking about?
Gosh. I mean, you could say McNeil Warren, safety out of Toledo. I know a lot of guys liked him in the draft. I mean, that dude's played lights out since he's been here.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get himself a significant amount of playing time this year, and he'll make some big plays. I mean, everybody's talking about the wide receiver play. People are talking about Fano. You know what? I will say what's going to make or break this defense is going to be Quincy Williams coming over from the Jets. And I think that's going to be the impact move for this team if it works out. People aren't really talking about the fact that, I mean, he's an all-pro player a couple of years ago, and he's still young. So we'll see if that pans out for us.
I think if you mix him with Mason, is it Mason Graham's that other guy, the kid from Michigan?
Yeah.
That's a good start right there. As much as I hate that fucking school up north, that is a hell of a player there. So that's a good move.
Tell us how you really feel, Bozy.
Well, you're going to get a whole lot of that this whole year, but anyway, cheaters.
Yeah, I'm struggling to hear Bozy for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like he's got some great stuff.
No, it was basically to fill you in. He was asking Will about Mason Graham, the defensive lineman that they have from Michigan. Promising young kid. So, go ahead, Bavakar. You have a question for Will?
Layman view as a fan of another team within the division, I've always just felt, I mean, again, this is kind of maybe taking 8 steps backward in the conversation, but I always just felt like the Browns were obviously highly skilled on the defensive side and a ton of potential on the offensive side. It was just the quarterback it's a problem. So it'll be very interesting to see if they do somehow find a way. And with an offensively minded coach in Monken, I'd be interested to see what they do with Watson. But just in general, if they find a way to fill that void at quarterback, which it is a quarterback-driven league, I do think they could be one of the more dangerous teams. Again, in a vacuum, keeping everything else. Yeah. Could be a very dangerous team if they found the right guy at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, here's the way I look at it is this. The roster is right now built for, 2 to 5 years down the road. They do right at the quarterback position in the next draft. Then I don't see any reason we're not winning the division for the next 6, 7, 8 years, because frankly, as far as age and youth and talent are mixed combined to the rest of the division, like we're on the way up and most of the other teams are on the way down. Right. Hate that or not hate it, but it's just a fact. Our average roster starting player is going to be, I think, 24 this year versus
very promising. Very promising.
Yeah, so it could pan out if the right, but once again, you got to draft the right guy.
I know Steelers have been on their way down for 17 years. So, but a lot of years, man. Last place, 1988. So we've heard it all the time. But
I don't know. Went to the Super Bowl that year. Just saying.
Yeah, well,
how'd that pan out?
That
like the other two did too. Fuck off.
Alrighty, so moving on here to
Candy Day. That was a John Candy game.
Hey,
yes,
it was. Yeah. So last call for right now for Will. Bavakwa, AB, or Bozy, have any questions for Will for the Cleveland Browns? And no, we're going to move on to Cincinnati. We're like Belichick. We're going to be on to Cincinnati. All right. So, Boz, you hit this on your opening statement here a little bit about the defense. The bugaboo of the Cincinnati Bengals, other than the offensive line, has been the defense. Outside of, you guys were pretty good, I believe, on your Super Bowl run there when you played the Rams. So, is this defense good enough to make you guys a playoff contender? Obviously, with Sexy Dexy.
Absolutely, yeah. Can everyone hear me? Okay, Babaka can hear me before.
Okay. He's coming out and coming back in. So yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. And so this past week they had a live scrimmage with the Bears. Okay, they went a live, no hitting the quarterback, a live everything. Dexter Lawrence dominated everything. They couldn't block him. They couldn't stop him. That opened up so much other guys. Cassius Howe, the kid we got in the second round, came unblocked. He was dominant. Miles Murphy was getting sack after sack. And then you got Jonathan Allen sitting there just making plays too. They got a rookie, Robinson from Navy in the 7th round, who's when I say this, I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but he looks like that type of player. He's not Aaron Donald, but you watch his play, you're like, okay, I could see
great technique guy.
Correct. Low to the ground, great technique, great hands, quickness side to side, relentless. Their defensive line upgraded massively by Hendrickson going and bringing in Lawrence with a different attitude that the defense. It is, Eric, remember college said D-line was attitude? That is what's fueling this defense right now. It is night and day difference. So, yes, this is definitely a playoff and, dare I say, a Super Bowl contender to get in the playoffs. So Burrow in the playoff, he's in the playoffs when he makes it. They're an AFC title game. That's where they make it, or the Super Bowl. So that's what they've done 2 years. So, okay. Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Bozy? I have a few, but I want everybody else to kind of get a chance in if they have any Bengal questions.
I may have missed it. I came back in so I could hear you, Bozy.
Can you hear me okay now?
So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I may have missed this. Health of Jamar Chase, given what's happened today. I mean,
he's fine.
What's the current status?
I looked at the video. He jumped up for a contested ball, fell on his knee, kind of tweaked it a little bit, limped and everything. He went live on a live radio, sports radio talk show next to the practice field. He's like, I'm fine, guys. I want to go back in. Won't let me go back in. He was walking around stretching. It's a non-issue. He might be out of practice next few days because I'd keep him out. But it sounded like if he could have gone back in on his own, he would have. So he's going to be fine. Okay. That scared the shit out of us too, though. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I don't like seeing guys go down, even if they're on rival teams. I want to see the best guys play.
Somebody made a comment before about everyone being healthy at their best. I agree. I want all these teams to be healthy at their best, and let's go see what happens. I agree.
Still loyal is getting him on his fantasy team, so we're good.
Bozy, I asked you this earlier in a previous podcast. I'm going to ask you again as a follow-up. Because I told you I didn't really think Chase Brown was the guy to take you to the promised land with the run game. How's the run game been looking during your mini camp and throughout the preseason?
Pretty solid, actually. You're right. I think that we need depth at the running back spot. I agree, but the strength of this offense isn't at the running back spot. It's everything else. It's the wide receiver depth, and it's going to strengthen the run game too. What did they say? Run the ball to pass the ball. I think it's kind of the opposite. You pass the ball to run the ball really effectively. So when they get these teams to the hill, Chase Brown is a good running back. I would take Derrick Henry over him. Sure, I get that. But in the AFC North, if we're going to compare running backs, maybe Junkins in Cleveland's pretty good. I like him, obviously. He's one of the top running backs in the AFC North. Not just the start of the Bengals. He's definitely one of the top running backs. He has been doing a lot of wide receiver drills for out of the backfield type stuff also. Piron is still reliable, but aging, a lot of wear in the tires there. I get that. So I still defer that I worry about the depth at the running back room from top to bottom.
Okay.
So, yeah, I still agree with that, GB.
Okay. Anybody else? Will?
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you willing to mortgage your house on Joe Burrow's playing more than 10 games this year?
Well, since I don't own a house anymore, sure. Yeah, I mean, he's due to have a healthy year. I mean, everyone wants to throw everything on the offensive line, which I agree, but it's also on Burrow too. You got to get rid of the ball. Flacco showed here last year when he was playing, you get rid of the ball, you're not going to get hit. Joe tries to make too many plays, which we love, and he's great, but you got to be smart. The play against Jacksonville when he fucked his toe up, that was kind of on him. He should have just got rid of the damn ball. And in the preseason game against Detroit, he took a sack. Get rid of the ball, dude. What are you doing? It's just mind-boggling. The offensive line is what it is. They're mediocre at best from top to bottom. I think there's some good pieces there. But if you remember the Super Bowl run that we had, that might have been the worst Super Bowl offensive line I've ever seen in my life. And they came a play away from the Super Bowl, but they couldn't block Aaron Donald. That's what that came down to. So I would say cross fingers, yes, this is going to be a healthy year, but we just don't know. We don't know, obviously. I mean, that's just yeah. Unfortunately, it's been a broken record with him.
I mean, it's my one more thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think Mike Brown's going to get in his own way, though, with that? I mean, could you have a roster that's capable of winning? But
Mike Brown – go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, ultimately – Burrow's injuries have been a lot of it, but I mean, the coaching has been really atrocious. And you talk about like stagnant coaching staffs. Bengals are known for not wanting to go spend money and make decisions that cost them anything. So you think they've made the mistake of keeping him this long?
Historically, I agree with what you said. The most recent years, I totally disagree with what you said. And here's why. Katie, his daughter, is really in charge of everything now. She is smart enough to know she is not a football person. Mike thinks he's his dad, Paul. He always thought that. He is not that. He's a good businessman. Katie is a Yale grad. She is smart as can be. You deal with the contracts. She's letting the football guys do the football stuff, which has made this a better, I don't want to call it program, a better franchise when it comes to on the field stuff. Yes, they got lucky and drafted Burrow and Chase. I get that. But did you guys ever see them making the trade for Dexter Lawrence? I've never thought in my life I would have saw that happening. No. And I would have been good if they took, they took Caleb Downs, I would have been happy with that. That trade totally made my mind up that Mike Brown is just there. He is not in charge of this stuff. He's the owner, but Katie runs it all. Mike's not going to get in the way. I don't have an issue with Zach Taylor so much, but to your point, this is the make or break year for Zach Taylor. If they make the playoffs and lose right away or don't make the playoffs, he's probably not going to be back. If they win a game in the playoffs and show up, he'll probably be back because Joe does like him. Yeah. But you got to remember, he took the team to the Super Bowl, almost back-to-back Super Bowls. You can say the players they got, but you still got to coach them, right? And the year that Burrow went out all year when they had the quarterback that's named Jake Browning, they almost made the playoffs that year, which was a joke because Jake Browning sucked.
And Jake Browning wins off the field, by the way. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, he does. That's 1,000,000% correct. Hell yeah. So I saw that in person a few times at games. And I was like, damn, giddy up, buddy.
Goodness.
High five. Okay. But historically, dude, you're right. That's the Bengals' motto. Historically, that's just the way it's looked at. I think it's definitely changed when it comes to that, though.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? I have a question for Bozy, but unless anybody else has anything. GB or AB or Bavacqua?
No, I'm good.
You good? So, Bozy, let me ask you this. What about, the Cincinnati Bengals the last few years have started off very, very slow. 0-2, 0-3, things like that. What do the Bengals need to do besides the Week 3 loss coming up? Need to do to avoid another slow start?
Ironically enough, they started 2-0 last year, but then Joe got hurt and lost 4 in a row. So they're playing their guys in the preseason more. I think that's been a coaching decision that rightfully so had to change. You got to play your guys in the preseason. They got the Chiefs do it. I hate the Chiefs, but Andy Reid, I got mad respect for. They put Mahomes out there all the time in the preseason, maybe not this year, but in general. And you see the outcome there. You have to get these guys acclimated to playing in real game stuff.
Right.
So I think that's definitely their first couple games are tough. I mean, Tampa at home, Tampa's tough.
Is that the opener?
Yeah, it's the opener.
Okay.
Yeah. Then they're at Houston. Then they come up there for a Week 3 win. Use that terrible towel to clean their shoes off again.
Yeah, you remember what happened last time they did that.
Yeah, go on and do that again. Go ahead.
Go ahead, do that again.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys took a quarterback's knee out in the playoffs.
Go ahead, do it again.
Oh.
Go do it again.
Karma's a bitch, man.
Yeah.
Karma's a bitch. Don't mess with the towel, brother.
Don't mess with the towel. We try to tell you.
I think they need to get a fast start. Yes, I do.
I mean, they got the talent to do it, man. But is this just something they do in the preseason or at the beginning of the year?
It's a preseason thing building up. I don't think the guys can play anymore in the preseason, but they had those live practices with the Bears, and the Bears are a good team, and they were actually, except for hitting the quarterback, it was full go everything. That's good competition. They had their live practicing, and I like that.
Yeah,
you won't see them against the Eagles this coming week. It'll be all the backups, but their depth is really good. But their schedule is very forgiving as it goes on through the year. The first couple games are Tampa, Houston, at Pittsburgh. At Pittsburgh's always tough. It's division. But after that, it's pretty forgiving throughout the whole year. I mean, it's road divisional wins. I mean, hell, at Cleveland's always tough. I mean, let's face it.
All division games are tough. I mean, because everyone's familiar with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't care how bad. They're always going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets forgiving throughout the whole year, though, as it goes on, though. So, but a fast start would be a good thing. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. We will lose to Cleveland on Thursday. At Cleveland.
At least it's not like it late in the year when they get those snow shenanigans. But Thursday night in Cleveland.
Again?
That's a bad omen for us.
Does it not snow in Pittsburgh? Not used to the snow up there?
It's just some weird Cleveland snow. I don't know what it is.
The lake effect.
I got a
you guys had
defensive question before we move on.
Bring it.
Rosie.
Yeah.
So, you talked about Dexter Lawrence, and I think that the line is going to be much improved. What gives you a lot of confidence about the second and third level that it's going to be a lot better? Because I really don't see it. I mean, I think that defense is still one of the weaknesses of your team.
So you're talking about the linebacker and secondary? Is that what you mean, second, third level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Linebacker crew, I agree. They got there were 2 rookies from last year that they're putting a lot of chips on those guys. But what we talked about this before, what makes linebackers better is your up front defensive lineman being dominant. They did not have that the past couple years. Even with your guys' boy Trey Henderson, he was a great pass rusher, not a dominant defensive lineman. Now they got Dexter Lawrence up front taking up blocks, Jonathan Allen, BJ Hill, this kid Robinson. They got Boy Mafe from Seattle. The defensive line is going to make those linebackers better. Like a good offensive line with running backs, same thing. The defensive backfield. DJ Turner is actually probably a Pro Bowl snub from last year, actually. I mean, you got to think he might have been. The safety room was shitty last year. Geno Stone, we talked about it, can't tackle, right, guys? Remember Mount Washington, how that worked?
Ravens retread.
Yeah, no, he's terrible. And Buffalo's about ready to cut his ass. Did you see that? That was a big Buffalo pickup, and they're about ready to cut him. Yeah, because he sucks. No, I agree. I didn't like him. But Brandon Cook, he's a local kid from Cincinnati, but from Kansas City. He is a good safety. They could tackle better in the secondary now. They didn't tackle good at all. That's why they lost a lot of games because they couldn't tackle in the secondary. Mm-hmm. That is a major upgrade. They're not missing tackles in the preseason. Backups aren't missing tackles. It's a different energy there. So to your point, yes, you may not see it as a Ravens fan because I don't see the stuff that you see as a Ravens fan too. Looking at that, but from this aspect, that's what I see. Dax Hill is going to be there. They drafted the kid, Takari Harris, Bobo from Washington, who looks really good also. So, so I think the defensive backfield, their secondary, the tackling. My question is the linebacker depth and how those guys are going to improve. But all things I'm hearing is they are making plays in the linebacker because the defense line's there making it for them so they can actually have the holes to get there. So, long answer to you, but
Sure, tackling is going to fix a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
Good question.
And as the old adage goes, the games are won and lost in the trenches, right? If you got a defensive line that's being disruptive, all of a sudden that can mask whether or not the players in the second and third level get better or not. It can't even mask inefficiencies if that defensive line is improved and is getting after quarterback or being disruptive in general. So that's a great point.
I'm actually glad you guys didn't Max Crosby because when I thought you guys had him, I was like, damn, I know he's coming off knee injury, but I was like, oh, shit. Because
he's a baller.
He's, I think, one of the top defensive ends in football still, when healthy, obviously.
To see how he performs in Las Vegas in the next year or two, and that'll really make me we've had a prior conversation in a different pod about this, that whether the Ravens made a good decision cutting ties with that or Dixie. I'll be very interested to see how he does this year, but more important next year, but definitely this year. Because
there was a lot they gave up,
Yeah, he's a gamer. I mean, that's it. Yeah. That's it. It comes on a cost, but he is a gamer. There's no about that.
All right. The roundup, Cincinnati, Bozy, same question to you. Who's a player outside of that nobody outside of Cincinnati is talking about?
Well, I brought up Landon Robinson before, the defensive tackle. Watch out for him this year. He's a 7th round pick. I'm going to give you a player, but I think every one of their draft picks is making the team. And that's not because they're all good. They're playing really good. That includes Dexter Lawrence as the 1st round pick. Wide receiver they picked up that was in the Canadian football, I believe, or CFL last year, Myers. He's going to make the roster. And he's going to challenge for the 3rd wide receiver spot with Yoshi Boss. The dude can play, and Joe Burrow loves him. So watch out for Myers at wide receiver. Just like they don't need enough wide receiver depth. They got, I think, the best 1-2 tandem in the NFL, actually, if you ask me. I'm biased, but that's just what I feel like.
Yeah, that's up there with Dallas, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else going for the Cincinnati Bengals on some questions? All right. GB, I'm going to give you the floor first, and then I'm going to let everybody attack us here. The Pittsburgh Steelers. GB, first off, we've already said this many times on our pod, but just like we're talking about, it's odd that Bozy's the only one that has the coaches coming back, as well. So what have you noticed?
Ironic.
Hey, how about that? What have you noticed in the difference in this team with a Mike McCarthy and then Patrick Graham, a defensive coordinator at a high level? What's different about this year?
Yeah. First of all, the preparation, again, I mentioned it earlier, just watching their preseason and how their practices are structured and organized, and you even hear the players, alluding to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
DK had alluded to that, and the quarterbacks. Like, there's a lot of people that have kind of said, "Man, this is a lot. This is a lot, well, better for better words, right?" So that's the thing that is, yeah, details exactly. That's the thing that's really, really, really stuck out for me above and beyond everything with this regime.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew that the staff overall. I mean, you got Angelicio, who was the OC at Minnesota. I mean, come on, man. I'm all right with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick Graham, right, who was at Vegas, but when you look at the type of defense that he runs, I think you're going to see a more of a Blitzburg type of situation than some of the vanilla stuff that Tomlin and them started to get to, later on
Mm-hmm.
in their career. So that's a breath of fresh air. And them moving players around as well. You're not going to see TJ Watt on one side of the field the whole year, right? They're going to be moving people around, so that's going to be that's going to be interesting to watch. So, so yeah, just across the board, like I'm the preparation, the OC and the DC, I'm very very high on both of them, and I said it again, how they constructed this roster as a whole, is very very it's absolutely solid. Um, we can debate all day about that.
All right. Obviously, I'm not going to prepare questions for ourselves, so I'll leave the floor
Yeah,
open to you
bring it.
guys if you have any specific questions on the Steelers for this year.
I actually do. You guys brought this up in a prior podcast. What is your confidence level in the offensive line? You guys mentioned they're flipping guys from the right side to the left side and vice versa.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but I know that if you're good, you can play either side, but that's not always true.
Right.
That, to me, with having a quarterback that is not mobile, that is my biggest concern.
It's a legit. It's 100% legit concern, and you can see the growing pains so far in preseason. There are 4 new starters on this offensive line, just because 2 went from the right to the left, right? So and Fuatana has struggled a little bit. He's been overreaching a little bit. McCormick's been solid, but he hasn't been great. Frazier is one of the top 3 centers in the league. I'm not worried about him. There's a Hoffman right now seems to be the leading right guard, but that's as long as he can be serviceable. Dylan Cook has struggled mightily at right tackle, but I think he is really a stopgap until Max is ready, the first-round pick. And GB, I sent that clip to you as well. Max Ionachor is finally practicing, and it's his feet. His feet are absolutely insane. If Dave Campen and Jahari Evans, the O-line coaches, can get a hold of him, this kid is actually, I'm going to say this now, he could be a budding Pro Bowl. He could be on that right side for 12 years. But it's a big if. But so if we can stabilize that, I think it'll come around, but it might be something that we see more towards like the week 4 and 5 and things like that. GB, go ahead.
Bozy, I'm more concerned about that, and we talked about that yesterday. The first 2 games in our preseason, our running game has been averaging less than 4 yards a carry, somewhere to the tune of about 3.4 to 3.5 yards a carry. That's just not going to get it done, So that's something I have my third eye on, especially early. Because it looks like Thursday, this is going to be all the young guys playing. I don't think they're going to be doing too much of anything. So, it's kind of, hold your breath because we haven't really seen the finished. We haven't even seen the finished product yet going into week 1. So, but fortunately, it is a veteran team. I'm a proponent. I'm a proponent of one. I don't think you need to. There comes a point where like you're just like even down to high school now, like they don't even play dudes in scrimmages nowadays.
No.
Like it's just the way it is, So you're not going to see the finished product until game 1. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. And I'm very confident this is going to play out in Steelers' favor in 2026.
You sound so confident saying that in Steelers' favor. Yeah. Yay!
No, I'm very confident. I'm extremely confident.
Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that losing record again this year.
I don't have any. I don't really see too much competition this year in the AFC North, with the exception of Cincinnati.
You're out of your mind.
Kind of said that. I just said with the exception of Cincinnati. Calm your ass down, right?
All right, calm my ass down. You're drinking a Homer bucket there, dude.
No, it's logic. No. It's logic.
What's logic, dude? They're aging. They're not the same Steelers.
I'm gonna show you logic.
If this team was named any other team, you would be putting them down for 7 wins.
1,000% would not, because this team was 10-7 last year, right? Y'all laughing at your team can't even make the. Y'all can't win 10 games in 3 years. But anyway,
I'm a realist though. I know my team is garbage.
10-7 last year, right? True or false? 10-7. Division champs, true or false?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but
okay, but let me finish.
Let me finish.
You gonna let me finish? You gonna let me finish?
It's getting good. It's getting good.
Can I finish?
I mean, you lost to the Cleveland Browns.
Can I finish?
Bloody diarrhea his pants away from.
Can I finish?
No.
Hey, hold on.
This is like political debate. This is great.
Let him finish.
Yeah, go.
Here comes the truth.
All right, cool. Do y'all remember who our second wide receiver was last year?
It didn't matter. You couldn't get the ball to your first wide receiver.
Yeah, your guys' average pass play was like
because there wasn't a number 2 or number 3
because
receiver.
There wasn't a number 2.
How deep did he throw the ball half the time?
Now all of a sudden we got a dude named Michael Pittman who is 1,000% better than anybody. Bro, we had Adam Thielen. We had old ass Adam Thielen as WR2 at one point. We had Calvin Austin, who's WR3 at best. We have Marcus Valdez freaking Scantling.
Hold on. What's that jersey you're wearing? What's that jersey you're wearing? You need a hell of a tight end still.
Well, Bozy, you'll find out about that at Ohio State this year.
Yeah, but Bozy, they don't throw that tight end. Don't you know this?
Yeah.
Well,
that was an issue.
Freiermuth just to look good out there. That's all.
I would say that this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this new offensive regime is going to look a little bit different.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
Limping.
I got a feeling.
So go ahead.
I got a feeling that Rodgers throws a completion percentage somewhere around 58 to 61 this year and limps into week 7 before they're throwing Jural out there just hoping for a prayer.
To your point, what was his average depth per pass last year? What's going to be this year? How's Pittman going to change that? I like Pittman, sure.
He's going to win one-on-one battles. Easily. And also, too, if you have Pittman on there, you're going to also have Jeremy Bernard coming in. You're going to have Mike, but if you guys remember,
1,000% better.
But hold on, but if you go back and just look again, nothing's guaranteed. Okay, nothing's guaranteed. Go back and look at the Green Bay offense with Mike McCarthy. You look at your Michael Finley, that is Pat Freiermuth. Okay, they're hold on, they're very similar athletically. I'm not going to say who's a better athlete, who's a better player, but they're similar. You have Mount Washington, so if you have DK on the outside. You have Michael Pittman. Are you gonna single cover those guys?
Hold on.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay. Are you going to single cover those guys? And then, or if you choose to double somebody, someone's gonna be open. If you put Bernard on there, if you back up and you go into a too high safety look because you don't want to go to the deep ball, then you have Warren and Dowdle coming up. Now, granted, the line has to block. Again, I'm saying this with a lot of ifs and buts, but the potential is there. Because again, we've been finishing 5-12 for the last 4 or 5 years, but the issue with Rodgers is, and the reason he got rid of the ball so quick, nobody was open, and he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not getting hit.
Fuck it.
That's why Gainwell had like 150 targets.
And he and Arthur Smith, at the end of the day, he and Arthur Smith were not on the same page, and neither were a ton of their receivers. I think it's going to look a whole lot different. So my point is, to sum this all up, 10-7, right? Last year, won a division. Y'all talking junk, but our roster's actually improved from last year. I don't know how you do not see that. We have you guys. How about let's talk about Rico? Let's talk about Rico Dowdle.
Aaron Rodgers ain't the same from Green Bay.
Can you add what was Aaron Rodgers' stats last year? I'll wait. Go ahead. Somebody look it up.
What did he throw for 3,200 yards?
35 and 24 and 7.
And it was 24 and 7. Okay.
have a good year.
Yeah. 24-7. Okay.
Listen, the mobility is gone.
24-7.
The mobility is not there, but the arm is still there.
Something to get excited about in a league that like the top 10 quarterbacks are throwing for 40 touchdowns. Like,
And by the way,
24-7.
But
That's
my
like
point is,
that's
at
like
10-7,
you also had Lamar out and Joe out last year too.
With 12-14, like, come on, bro.
Are we even
like,
talking about the Pro Bowl? Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I mean,
I like getting the Pro Bowl quarterback. Everyone gets the
Will,
Pro
I'm
Bowl.
with you there, Will.
Joe
No
Flacco
problem.
made it too.
Like-
we had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks last year.
But
I got a question.
here's my question.
Last year.
Flacco made it, yeah.
So I'm going to ask the panel this question outside of GB, because he brought up a good point. Aaron Rodgers did what he did with DK and a bunch of nonsense, right? So now you add Pittman and you add Jeremy Bernard and you add an offensive-minded coach, right? I'm not saying he's going to throw for 40 touchdowns. I'm not saying that. But how can you say that it's gotten worse?
Because the offensive line's worse.
I'm saying that he's gotten older. Your defense has gotten older. I bet you TJ Watt doesn't get 10 sacks this year. The defense is going to be a real problem for Pittsburgh. The rest of the
you ain't been
Cincinnati's going to be a problem. They're going to win 2 games against Pittsburgh. I would venture to say. And
I ain't even paid attention to shit.
You know, I mean,
Are you?
Y'all ain't been looking at nothing that the Steelers been doing all offseason. It absolutely shows. But keep that energy though.
Too. You're like, oh, we picked. You know, you sit there and you're like, oh, who are you going to double team? You got, Mount Washington. You got Freiermuth. You got Metcalf, and then you got. And I know you're really excited about what's his name out of Indiana, Michael Pittman. But I mean, when you say one-on-one matchups, Michael Pittman's not winning one-on-one matchups outside of 10 yards. So ultimately, like, I don't think that you had 3 of those 5 guys last year, right? And you didn't throw the ball over the field. You didn't make a big difference. Like you
not last year, no, not at all.
Not at all.
So I don't see how adding a number 2 and number 3 receiver is going to fix the problems that team had last year with a new head coach. You had a coach last year that wins 10 games with no quarterback for the last 5 years. We'll see what.
I mean, that is true. That part is true. That part is true, and I think that's the whole idea about be careful what you wish for with like leaving Tomlin, like with Baltimore, with Harbaugh. I'm just saying, if you watched Michael Pittman and the quarterbacks he played with last year, okay, he's a combat catch guy, which Rodgers can still say what you want about Aaron Rodgers and his age. The arm is not gone. Not gone, right? I mean, Bozy, it took our putrid defense. I mean, you guys beat us in a third. I mean, he threw all over Cincinnati twice, lost one, but he threw all over twice.
I mean,
his two best games last year were against Baltimore. So in Cleveland, I mean, obviously outside of the one they shut him down there. I get that. I'm not saying Rodgers is an MVP candidate or anything like that, but he is in an offensive scheme now that can do a lot of damage. I'm not saying Steelers are going to be 13-4 and all this other stuff, but they're going to be improved. Okay, we'll see what happens because you never know what happens. Like I think Will said this. I mean, a lot of teams are one injury away from screw everything we just said, right?
Yeah.
But we've been. I mean, the coach can only go so far, but we've been 9-8, 10-7 with pedestrian offenses. And you have now talent on the offensive side.
But you also had great defenses, too. Back to Will's point, that is aging. I love Cam Hayward. He's not getting any younger. TJ Watt.
But he's also still second-team All-Pro.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what are you going to go off of? He's 1 year older from being second-team All-Pro.
It's like saying Chris Jones in Kansas City's still good. Is he? He's getting older,
Also, what they're doing, what Patrick Graham's doing, is he's moving Keanu Benton to a 3-5 technique, which is going to unlock him. It's going to be a lot better. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
And you're talking about aging. Our starting cornerback was Darius Slay last year. We got Jamel Dean now. Tell me how we got older.
Let's go to the quarterback position. Eric and I were talking about this off air. Joey Porter.
Joey Porter's getting signed. The end. Next question.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Come on, bro.
I'm asking the question.
We'll see.
It's a fair question. It's a fair question.
Joey Porter's getting signed. The end. I promise you.
We'll see.
That's good because we like torching him. He can't cover Jamar T.
He can give up a touchdown, though.
Well, He will.
I'm glad you guys are excited about your season. And I frankly, like I said, I could care less. I'm a Browns fan. I already know what I'm rooting for this year, and that's like a 2-week season, #1 overall pick. But if you're gonna sit there and tell me like you're super jazzed about Jalen Warren in the backfield with Dowdle, and you're super jazzed about 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers throwing to Michael Pittman, who 2 out of the last 3 years didn't even average 10 yards a catch. And you think that DK Metcalf, who I love, I'm a DK Metcalf. Like, I was floored when you guys got him for a 3rd-round draft pick. But if you think this is that's a roster that's going to go out there and torch the AFC North and win a bunch of games, like, I mean, I think that's got Homer juice written all over it, man.
Let me ask you this. Hold on, GB.
I don't think
let me ask you this.
I think there's a formula for winning. And we've always talked about this on our podcast. We've always said, look, if the Steelers have an offense that can get to 27 points, they will win a lot of freaking football games. And I believe this is the year that they actually put together an offense that can put together 27 points with ball control, right? With a 1-2 punch. Say what you want about Rico Dowdle and Jalen Warren. I'll take those two over the majority of every single other tandem that's out here. Right, I mean,
I wouldn't take them over anybody in the AFC North.
Dude, Dowdle's no slouch. He's a back-to-back $1,000 rusher from two different teams, mind you.
Yeah,
what are we talking about? Like, I mean,
listen, I think the best. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Go ahead, do that. Go ahead, finish that.
No, listen. Individually, you got Henry and Junkins. I get that. Individually, better running backs, but I don't understand what's. Again, I'm going to say this by saying he's not a. I'm going to use that stupid word, P word, Pro Bowl. What's not to like about Warren? I'm asking. Again, without saying he's the best, I'm just asking.
You're saying what's not to like about Jalen Warren?
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. I draft him every year in my fantasy football league. I'm just saying, like, he's not gonna run behind a subpar offensive line and tear it up. And he's not gonna get 20 carries a game. He's a great.
Well, he's not. That's why they brought Dowdle in. It's a kid's gonna be by committee.
So it'll be a matter of here. Look, I mean, I had him on my fantasy team the last 2 years. Last year, he was more disappointing than he was the year before when he got more touches. And frankly, they ended up giving towards the end of the season, he wore down, and the carries started going to what was it, Gainwell? Was that who you guys your backup? Did
you watch the Detroit game?
I don't remember the Detroit game specifically.
Yeah, we had 2 47-yard touchdown runs.
What week was that? Was that like week 16 or 17?
Yeah, it was late. It was late. I mean, Gainwell didn't get a lot of carries. Gainwell got more of like the swing passes and the screens and shit.
Yeah. I mean, all I know is last year he did not do nothing compared to what he did the year before for me.
Who really scares you out of the Steelers? That's going to give you an explosive play that's going to take the roof off, take the top off. Who really scares you like that? Let me ask you that question.
You guys answer.
Go ahead, Dudek. You want to answer? It's a sum of the whole. It's a sum of the whole. Like that's the beautiful thing. This is a freaking team.
So you don't have playmakers. You don't have dominant playmakers.
We have playmakers across the board. You have to pick your poison in this situation. Bro.
Are we playing fantasy football? Or are we trying?
We're not playing.
Hold on. There is something.
Wins and losses.
I get it.
And there's something to be said about that.
There's something to be said about those explosive players that take the top off and can be a danger that the defenses are so worried about.
And there's also something to be said about teams that can just get up and down the field and just make plays, bro. And that's exactly what this team is going to do. I mean, it's just they have it set up to be as balanced as they want it to be. Okay, as balanced as they want it to be on offense, and they have the defense that has actually been improved from last season. So, I mean, y'all can you can say what you want. I'll be back here in January. I promise. Like, I'll be right back here.
I'll leave everybody with this too as well. You guys were talking about the age of the defense. You take Ramsey, TJ, and Cam out. Those are really. I mean, Dean, I think, might have just turned 29, but I don't know of anybody else that's over 30.
I like Porter. I do like Porter, but
what I'm saying,
you just took your best defensive players off the roster, though.
Right.
You just say, like, let me take the best 3 players on my team.
Well, I said that though, Will, because I said that because I hear old defense.
Well, because when you talk about this, what made the Steelers so great the last 3 years, or I wouldn't even say last year, I'd say before that, the last 3 years before that, when they didn't have a quarterback and they were still winning football games, it was TJ Watt. It was the ability.
Oh yeah, it was TJ Watt. Yeah, and he hit like the injury bug. I mean, other than the needle last year. But
yeah, without him and Hayward in the last 3 years, that defense would have.
Yeah, but you could say that about a
watch.
lot of defenses. Without this player, that player, that wouldn't be nothing. I mean, it's you take
Yeah,
the top two
listen,
players
if they're
off
come
any
back healthy
defense.
this year and they play well, that's fine. But I mean,
Yeah.
And
I will agree with you, Will. I will agree with you, Will, on this. Is I don't expect TJ to get 15 sacks or thing anymore, but I would expect his presence,
Some of the hole again.
it being able to be moved around. If TJ can have, say, I'm going to pick a number, 11 sacks, but Highsmith has 10 or 11 sacks. Herbig comes in and he has 8 to 9 sacks, and Benton does. I mean, so if it's a sum of the whole, I don't need TJ to compete with Myles Garrett anymore because he can't. But for the sack record, but if his presence is going to steer, here's why I like Patrick Graham is because you look what he did with the Raiders. They were 14th to 15th ranked defense with Max Crosby and nobody. So we'll see. And the line inside linebackers are allowed to run. And I'm thinking, and I'm going to tell you right now, I think the star that might break out, this is going to answer the player nobody outside of Pittsburgh is talking about. I think it's going to be Peyton Wilson on defense because of the scheme is going to allow his athleticism to flourish. And I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Queen does some good things too, but I'm more high on Peyton Wilson than I am with that. And we'll see. Listen, there's a lot of questions still with the Steelers. I get that. And you guys are not wrong in your questioning of this team. But I just think, again, we hear it every year that we're going to suck. We're going to have a losing record. We hear it every year.
Who do we hear that from? Because I don't hear that. I always know Pittsburgh's always be competitive and tough. I never hear that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anybody ever says they're gonna.
Maybe you guys think you hear that there, but we don't hear that.
You guys talk more shit about your football team and your
don't
coaches
hear that.
than anybody.
We always worry
now that Tomlin's gone,
that
elated.
Like here,
no offense to the Browns, dude. It's Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Oh, they're the best ever. That's what we always hear.
Yeah.
No, it's it's the national media, which I guess is kind of a grain of salt too. National media is
they are lazy.
Hey, it's gonna be the first year Tomlin's gonna have a losing season. Tomlin's gonna have a losing season. Now Tomlin's gone. Mike McCarthy's gonna be 5-12. He's gonna have this. Our quarterback's 57 years old.
Back to the same with Baltimore too. You guys have a new coaching staff. I know McCarthy's not a new coach in general, but this is a new staff altogether.
Yeah.
Continuity. How's that going to mold together going forward? That's a good question. We don't know.
It's 100%, and I'm not. Sure. And GB and I we're not saying the Steelers are like world beaters in a sense, but we just think that there's a lot of
GB's crowning them already.
Well, division winners. I would dare to say everybody here thinks.
Why wouldn't we be?
Posey, let me ask you this: what are you doing with the Bengals?
There's not a single Vegas book that has you guys ranked higher than third best chances.
Did they have
good?
And what was it in 2025? I'll wait.
I mean, I don't know. It was not.
It was third. We were picked to finish third.
Third, and y'all say it's the same.
Some of us have picked
last.
But Eric, to your question about the Bengals, though,
you guys won the division by one game over a 500 Baltimore team. This
is the 1 year I can say
they didn't have their starting quarterback for 13 weeks of the season.
This is the one season I can say the Bengals on paper, Eric, is probably the best team in the division on paper going forward. Health and all that, throw that out the books. We can't do that. Okay, that's just my guess.
All right. Let's all go through. Let's all go pick our win-loss records for each team, so we can recap.
Yeah, thanks, Will. I mean, you caught the best one. I want to move us along here as well too. So, Will, since you brought it up, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Your win-loss record prediction for the Cleveland Browns.
For the Cleveland Browns, I think we're going to end up winning 6 games.
Okay, so 6-11.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd rather be 4.
All right, Bavakwa and AB, you guys go next, and we'll just take whatever's in the middle. Since there's 2 of you guys.
I got the Ravens going 11-6. New head coach. I think that Jesse Minter is going to have a couple weird, bizarre losses, but I think he's going to have a couple close wins. And I just, I see us winning the division. I know we're all in that mindset, but
we should be.
Yeah, we're going to do enough to take it.
Okay, Bavako, what you?
Yeah, first thing, real quick. I mean, the 2 most stable franchises in this division are undergoing massive change. Everything's on the table. Anything can happen. The optimistic side of me was getting say 11-6 to 13-4. I think the schedule is not that bad this year.
Yeah,
with who they're playing, the division's always tough. I mean, you really can toss up a lot of those games. So that's why I put a little bit of a variance there. But I do think that if they can take advantage of what they're doing, the defense shows up like they've done the first 2 preseason games, I think there's a lot of potential to at least be 11-6 and 13-4.
I thought you were going to say 17-0 because of those IPAs.
Oh, 17. You know what? They're going to win every game 42-6. Coach Finter finds a way.
Ravens in the over every week.
I love it, fellas. I love it, fellas.
Week,
Bozy, what about you, sir?
Bet the mortgage.
I mean, let's just get it out of the way. If Burrow is healthy, I think they're a 12-win team. If he's healthy. And you got to assume they're going to be healthy. The defense has improved enough. I think we split with Baltimore. I think we split with Pittsburgh. That's fair to say.
Yep.
We got Cleveland later in the year, by the way, which I've never seen. We got like second half of the year back. By that point, Cleveland might be throwing their chips in by that point anyhow. Who knows? With his Hopi, they are obviously with the draft picks. But I think 12-5, and I think that's a division winner right there. I mean, I know I'm a homer saying that. I get it, but
well, first off, you should be a homer. It's your team.
Why shouldn't you? Yeah.
Well, why shouldn't you be? So
if
again,
Burrow's healthy, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But we can't sit there and say he's going to get hurt. That's the thing. We can't. Maybe we've talked about this. Is that you can't just assume he's going to be hurt. You just can't, because a couple years ago when he was healthy, they didn't make the playoffs, but he had probably the best career I've ever seen out of a quarterback that didn't make the playoffs. The defense improvement is what's going to get this going. Go ahead,
just as well as you can assume that the offense is going to look exactly the same as last year for the Steelers too. So, GB, record prediction, and I'll go last.
I'm going to say 11-6 to 12-5, somewhere around there.
Took mine.
Yeah, I mean, again, logic with notwithstanding, it's we were 10-6 a year ago. We upgraded our roster. The coaching staff looks the appearance looks as if there's going to be more better preparation. So I think that's going to get you an extra game or two. So here we go.
So what I'm looking forward to is Bill Cowher had this, Mike Tomlin had this. You had those games where you're going, what in the hell did they lose that game for? I think a lot of our teams have done that, even if you're expected to win or things like that. You think you have favorable matchups. I'm curious to see if that trend continues with an offensive-minded coach like Mike McCarthy. I was like you, 11-6, 12-5. I do think that this division beats each other up.
Yeah.
There was a stretch in the year where the Steelers play the Eagles, the Broncos, and the Texans in back-to-back weeks, and then we got Baltimore. I think 2 of the last 5 or 2 of the last 4 weeks. That's tough. So I think the front load of this schedule has to be important. The Steelers don't have the Atlanta's top 2 pass rushers are suspended for week 1. Looks like we're playing against Tua, right? Patriots will be tough. Cincinnati will be tough. So I like the 11-6 to 12-5, and obviously I think we're going to win a division. But we'll look at AB and what Bozy said, and you never know what Cleveland can do if they catch lightning in a bottle with Deshaun Watson. It's good. They're going to cannibalize each other. So I do think 12-5 wins this division. Maybe even 11-6. So we'll see. But I think that's what's going to happen. And I do think that the offense, I think Steelers are going to be like around 10 to 14 ranked offense, 10 to 14th ranked defense. And I think they're going to be in a lot of games this year, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. And hopefully, but the key is the offensive line. If the offensive line doesn't hold Rodgers up, then it can definitely go sideways pretty quick.
I do want to say with this schedule, how the divisions have lined up this year. I do think in this AFC North division, wins are going to have to be stacked in order to win it. It's not going to be a 9-8 year.
Yeah,
that's going to make it. I mean,
no, it's not. There's too much talent in this division.
Yeah, well, and I just think that playing some of the other divisions, I think the schedule precludes a little higher win than what we've seen in the past.
So 2 last questions for you guys before we get out of here. 1, do you think the AFC North is the best division of football? If not, who is?
I go back and forth from the NFC West and the NFC North. The AFC North is not the best right now. Not with all the new coaches. It's just not.
Okay.
I think it's my favorite, but it's not the best. AFC North and NFC West, I go between those 2.
Okay. Will, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I'd have to say it's the NFC North, at least this year. It's going to be the best. I think the AFC North is somewhere around like the 4th best.
Okay. Bavacqua and AB.
I'm going to agree with Bozy there with the NFC West. I think you got 3 top flight offensive teams. If if the Cardinals could get their shit together, I mean, that whole division is just stacked.
It is.
Well, the Cardinals are going to tank this year. They're looking for a quarterback too.
Yeah.
But God, I wasn't even thinking about Seattle when I thought about that division. We'll see
Isn't
what
it
happens.
weird you forget about the Super Bowl winner?
Yeah, well, you just forget they're all in the same division. I mean, the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners all in the same division. I mean, they make you forget about the Niners. Like, I mean, let's be honest, the Niners. You talk about aging teams like McCaffrey, Kittle coming back off injury. I don't even know how Purdy is how Purdy wins football games blows my fucking mind. But Shanahan, I guess. So they're a team that could win 7 games or they could win 14 every year.
Another one is the AFC West. I'll be honest with you. If Kansas City, I cannot stand Kansas City, but if they are back to what they can be, Denver, I hate San Diego Chargers because their coach cheats. But that being said, he's a cheater. Fuck Harbaugh. But those top 3, they're good teams too. So the AFC North is behind all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good stuff though. I mean, honestly, I like the AFC West as well, but and also the NFC North. I think our AFC North is up there because you got to look at the coaches and quarterbacks. There's potential for the AFC North to be great, but there's a lot of unknowns, right? So I think the AFC West and NFC North, I think, are more established.
I mean, I think when you look at the AFC North in general, like just talent wise, they just lack. I mean, you can even say like look at the NFC South, right? Or East NFC East.
I was gonna say
Dallas, Philadelphia. This football team. They all got quarterbacks. Dallas could light it up this year if the offense gets its shit together all year. I mean, man,
they got a defense now.
At least on paper.
I had a buddy send me a text, by the way, just now. The AFC North football in the wintertime is still awesome to watch. It is.
It is. It's like the Big Ten
AFC
football
North
in college.
Yeah.
So.
The best about the AFC North is nobody's got an indoor facility. They're all out.
Oh, we will though. Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. Your guys, the new complex that is being built up there, it looks tremendous. I will say
Dude,
that.
it looks like it's going to be so sick. So, and Taylor Swift's going to come play here. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
So are you going to have bigger as long as you have a bigger than a 19-inch Jumbotron that's bigger than Buffalo's stadium? That thing was just atrocious.
Buffalo's open air still. Thank God they are. I like the open air.
Yeah. Well, I just saw Cleveland they just redesigned theirs again, and now they're going to have a removable top or whatever. I think
they redesigned their stadium.
Yeah, like they just did the new model, and now it's got an open top, so kind of like Dallas, where you can open or close it. I mean, frankly, look, don't get me wrong. I was in the Cleveland game where we played Buffalo, and it was like 6-3 or 8-3 or whatever. I love the cold weather; it's fun. I love snow, but ultimately, man, I just want to see good football, and I don't want to see 8-6 score anymore. Like I want to see some freaking 400-yard passing games. I want to see greatest show on turf type shit.
Well, you better get a quarterback for that.
Let me ask you guys this
next year, dude. We got it's going to either be
March Manning, go get him.
Let me ask you this though. You know what? This just brought up another question, and I know we can go for hours. We're not going to, but I just got a question there. So because we're all like northern teams, are you guys in favor of domes up at North, or do you still want the weather to be a factor?
I like the weather.
Fuck the weather. What are you talking about? You wouldn't rather see.
Burrow plays great in the winter.
I want the Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. So the only way that's going to happen is it being indoors.
Yeah.
So
I like the weather on TV. Being out in it is a little different.
Good point.
Good point.
So I'm a Ravens fan. I live in Pittsburgh. And I went to game in Cincinnati many years ago, 2003 maybe, Steelers and Bengals, and I had it was 5 degrees, layered everywhere, but my socks.
I was at that game. Derek Farmer caught a touchdown to win the game at the end.
That was where Kitna threw for like 470 or something.
Yep. Little hands, Johnny Kitna.
Yeah.
Listen,
feel my feet.
Everybody says they want the weather to be a factor, but let me tell you something. when your team is just good, it's just good. And good teams that play in the sunshine come out here in the North and they still win football games. It's only a factor when it's so bad, like last year's Pittsburgh-Cleveland game.
When's the last time Miami's gone and won a game up north?
Equalizes everybody on the field. Because I mean, you can look at like the AFC North, for example, over the last years. Like we've had players that only played in California, that only played in warm weather states, that came here and still played well in the cold. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes, like in Kansas City. Like
what's funny you're bringing up here? A lot of the kids, I know we're going off topic here, but a lot of kids getting recruited out of the South up to the northern cities don't care about that so much because they're going to get the NFL. They're getting money drafted. Too. They're getting ready, so that's the point. Yeah, so they're getting ready for these cold weather teams or games. Cool. Big Ten's the best. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and
I would concur.
Face it, the weather doesn't impact you at 22 as much as it does when you're 42 or something.
Our fucking old asses in the chairs.
Or you barely put the number 5 in front of the first digit of your age, and you're like, you know what? Maybe Dome is pretty good.
Eric, were you the only 50-year-olds here?
I think so.
I don't.
What's that?
I think 40. So.
I'm getting there, but
50 something. Yeah, I'm 50, so it's like 50. I'm old as shit.
Yeah, me too.
Now, Bose, I've aged horribly, so maybe that factors in.
That honestly, Bozy, that is true. He has aged absolutely horrible.
Come on, you don't look like Ben Roethlisberger, so I don't want to hear your aging bullshit. I get that shit on this podcast.
Yeah, Will and AB Bavak, we were on here, and Mark, who's watching right now, one of our
I heard Mark earlier,
hangs out with us all the time. He come on, and he's like, my wife came in, and is like, why is Ben Roethlisberger on your podcast? It was
like, fuck me.
Too many IPAs.
I love it.
Just like the real Ben.
So many jokes I don't want to throw on here right now. I don't want to throw many jokes on here from Ben, but I'm
you be quiet. I'm gonna get you off the camera here. Guys, listen, this has been an absolute blast. I appreciate everybody. I love the banter going back and forth, as you should, with division rivals. I do want to tell you this, is I can only speak. I don't care what anybody else said. There's nothing but respect for all three teams from my perspective goes. I don't care what the records are. I don't care listen, it's football, right? And we play each other twice a year. I do have a lot of respect for everybody. What would be a rival if we don't smack talk? If we don't say you're an idiot or you're insane or you're all this, that, it's a great time. I mean, Will, I appreciate you coming on I got to come up and see that studio when you get done, man. I've seen that on the post on there. That looks phenomenal what you're building absolutely. Up there. So with that being said, Will, where can everybody find you and what's going on with Guys Sports Night?
Yeah, we can find us on every social along with Guys Sports Night or Guys Night Podcast. In fact, we just got monetized, so congratulations on all our success for Guys Night Podcast getting monetized. But we're actually moving our studios into a place called the Common Ground. It's an old pickle warehouse that turned into kind of a retail facility. It's got a bunch of small businesses in it, and we're building a studio there. So we're going to do live pregame shows out of the bar called Picklebacks there. Pretty excited about that. And then we'll be doing our regular shows there. And the best part is we get to throw some epic events. So we threw our first Guys Night event August 1st, had about 1,200 people attend. And now we've got a merch line coming up and all kinds of good stuff. So, make sure you're following us. And hopefully we could all get together mid-season and talk about how right or wrong we all were.
It's going to be an open invitation for the Burgh Cave for everybody too. Maybe we'll do that. We'll play in the same panel somewhere in mid-season. And like I said, we can go back and this will stay on YouTube, so we can go back and watch it before we come on and see who looks like a goof and who was right. So, Bavak and AB, do you guys got anything going on? I know you guys are social media enthusiasts. If not, what do you guys got doing? Anything? Something?
No plugs. Let's go Ravens.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I'm friend of the program with the Burgh Cave, but other than that, man, I mean, but Bose and Will going to earn a follow. However, I think I'm on a couple watch lists, so you might get the FBI kicking down your door.
So you're Italian, okay?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, those two Ravens guys are literally right across the street from me too. But I love being able. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say I love being able to just even how many sidewalk conversations do us three have just talking Steelers Ravens all the time. You know,
yeah,
it's a neighborhood. You take the trash out. Oh, hey, don't you know it's 11:30. We got to go to work next day. We're out there just talking in the middle of the street and stuff like that. So great guys on here. That again, everybody's always welcome. But 2 great Raven fans on here too. But Bozy, what about you, man? Are you doing anything on social media yet?
No, still not going to. I don't know. I just kind of live my life. But I went to college with Eric, guys, up in Pittsburgh. And there you go. Thanks, man. And so I got to come up there. I hopefully meet you too, Raven. As much as I hate the Ravens, I meet you guys hang out. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
GB, you too, I guess. So,
yeah, Will, as you know too, is that Will doesn't know yet, but Bozy and I, we were teammates in college. So it was, so he's obviously we share a lot of, Steeler Bengal BS in college too. So that's where we became friends.
Dude, I had to live up in Pittsburgh during the 90s when we were awful and you guys were throwing the here we go chants. Fuck.
It's awesome. It's so good stuff.
So bad.
GB, what about you, sir? Where can people find you, sir?
You can find me on all the socials on _your_boy_GB. There you go. It's your boy GB. Is it?
What the hell's your handle, man?
Come on and see me. Hey, it's been a long day, bro. It's been a long.
It has been
freaking day.
Hey, so before we get out of here, man, listen, again, appreciate everybody. What I loved about this pod is the number. I see how many people are watching. The numbers have never gone down. People have hung out with us for the whole hour and 45. I love it. Appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe to the Burgh Cave. Follow us on the Twitters, on everything. And if you go to theburghcave.net, we just thought about the merch is something we can relate. And Will, I even got some brown and white for the Browns as well because, listen, football is a brotherhood. No matter if you've played or if you're just a fan, it's a community thing. So football as a brotherhood is across the country. It's not just a Pittsburgh thing. And I wanted to create something that people can get some T-shirts that can show community because this game brings so many great people together. And it's a great, great thing. So go check out the Burgh Cave, theburghcave.net. Check out the apparel link. Go get yourself some merch, and we'll go from there. But appreciate everybody. And we will see everybody on the next one. Don't forget, Monday Night Lives. GB and I will be back talking some Steelers, wrapping up the preseason, and we'll see what we need to do when we take on the Atlanta Falcons in week 1. Appreciate everybody. See you guys on the next one.
Later, guys.
Yep. Right. Who that?
Who what?